With the WINN FM News, I am Kevin Brown.
And I am Yolana Weeks.
Our top stories.
Skelec ramps up vegetation management for hurricane season. Navigating the Digital World, ECCB guides students on online safety. Attempted murder in Halfway Tree under investigation.
Organizers anticipate a sold-out St. Kitts Music Festival and historic attendance record in 2025. Nevis Recycling Team ships more plastic waste overseas, confirms reduction in single-use plastic at landfill.
PAHO hosts workshop on improving regional healthcare. OECS leaders push legislation for regional resilience. Internationally, Israel accused of hypocrisy over hospital attacks amid escalating conflict.
Now, the details.
The St. Kitts Electricity Company Limited, Skelec, is intensifying its vegetation management efforts as the hurricane season commences, emphasizing its crucial role in maintaining a safe and reliable electricity supply. Overgrown trees and vegetation present significant risks to electrical infrastructure, particularly during adverse weather conditions. High winds during storms can cause branches to break or entire trees to fall onto power lines, resulting in outages, property damage, and potential injuries. Vegetation management is a critical aspect of grid hardening, a strategy designed to make the power grid more resilient to withstand and recover from severe weather events. By systematically controlling plant growth near power lines, utilities can prevent outages and damage, enhance safety, and improve overall reliability. This proactive approach also reduces maintenance costs by preventing expensive emergency repairs and extending the lifespan of power infrastructure. Claricia Langley-Stevens, Skelec's Health, Safety, Security, and Environment Official, highlighted the ongoing work.
Skelec is currently engaged in vegetation management as we prepare for the hurricane season efforts of the company. And the vegetation management simply means that we assess all of the trees around the island and we look for the ones that are infringing on our infrastructure, especially overhead lines. And we use opportunity through our contractors to be able to clear the lines. Most times to be able to do overhead infrastructure, we have to use our bucket truck that you see in the back. But of course, the contractors are given specific safety training and protocols to be able to actually execute these duties safely.
Skelec's Transmission and Distribution Division is primarily responsible for planning, building, maintaining, and operating the island's 11 kV distribution network, which reaches approximately 95% of the island's population. Their efforts include the construction and maintenance of the overhead network infrastructure, as well as planning for future expansion. Langley-Stevens elaborated on Skelec's commitment to vegetation management.
Skelec prides itself on vegetation management to the extent that we have a department responsible for the overall and holistic maintenance of overgrown trees, areas that we have infrastructure that might not be so popular, where we ensure that these trees are kept groomed.
She also noted the engagement with the public.
We also engage in education and awareness programs that allow for the company to have conversation with its customers, reminding them of how important it is to keep their trees trimmed and groomed and away from the Skelec overhead lines.
Utility vegetation management involves several key practices, including hazardous tree removal, brush removal, tree pruning, and herbicide application. Contractors hired by Skelec are required to use approved herbicides and mechanical techniques for clearing and controlling vegetation near electrical infrastructure, adhering to company policies and national regulations. Langley-Stevens underscored the ongoing nature of these efforts.
We always look forward to these levels of preparation, heightened awareness, and opportunities for education. So this exercise that is happening behind me, this is a regular exercise. It happens on a daily basis, but we do ramp it up a bit when it comes to the hurricane season. And obviously, we are at the start of the hurricane season, and for us, this is a priority. So we look forward to the cooperation of the general public. We look forward to the cooperation of the individuals who might be affected when we come around the island to be able to engage in vegetation management for hurricane preparedness.
Property owners are encouraged to play their part by regularly checking for overhanging branches and safely trimming vegetation near their homes. In an era where technological integration is rapidly expanding, the importance of digital literacy is becoming as crucial as financial literacy, especially for the youth in St. Kitts and Nevis and across the Caribbean territories. The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, ECCB, has recognized the need and is actively implementing initiatives to equip young individuals with the necessary skills to navigate the digital landscape safely and effectively. Digital literacy encompasses the ability to confidently and critically use a full range of digital technologies for information communication and basic problem solving in all aspects of life. Or simply, it means having the skills to effectively use technology and the knowledge and skills to do so safely and responsibly. In recognizing the growing prominence of digital interaction, the ECCB has also focused on preparing the younger generation for a tech-oriented future. A significant undertaking in this regard is the ECCB Primary School Mentorship Program initiated in 2007. This program is administered in selected primary schools across the 8 ECCB member countries, engaging students from grades 4 to 6. The objective is to provide mentorship and support culminating in a regional session of grade 6 students to aid in their transition from primary to secondary school. On June 18, 2025, the ECCB Connect broadcast featured a vital session for grade 6 students across the ECCU, focusing on digital literacy tips for their transition to secondary school. Raja Bisesar, IT specialist at Pinaka Consulting Limited, emphasized the ubiquity of the internet in young lives and the importance of online safety.
Today, we're going to talk about something super important, right? So I need you all to listen up. It's also something you use every single day, the internet. You're probably online a lot, whether it's chatting with friends. I know you all like to play your games, like to watch YouTube, or even scrolling through TikTok, right? But just like how you look both ways before crossing the street to be safe, there are some things you can do to be safe online too. So today I'm going to share some simple tips to help you protect yourself, your info, and even your friends while using the internet. You all ready? So let's start with a big question. Why does digital safety even matter? Well, think about how much of your life is online, guys. You chat, you're playing games, you're watching videos, you're posting pictures, maybe you're even doing a little schoolwork now and then. But just like in the real world, not everyone online has good intentions. There are some bad people out there who might try to trick you, steal your stuff, and just cause all kind of problems. And that's why we're here today. We're going to show you all some smart ways to stay safe, protect your info, and avoid drama online. So let's talk about passwords. They're kind of like the keys to your online house, right? Would you leave your front door open and then leave your house? That's what you all do at home? No, right? So don't do that with your online house either. You want to lock it up tight and before you leave. So that's why password is important. If your password is something like the word password 123, that's super easy to guess. Or even like your name. You don't want to put it at something like that. That's like locking your door with a spaghetti noodle. Super easy to break into, right? So instead, make your password strong. Mix letters, numbers, and unique symbols like an exclamation mark or a question mark, that kind of thing.
Janelle Lake, Acting Deputy Director in the ECCB's Management Information Systems Department, offered practical advice for creating secure passphrases.
If I could jump in with something that might help you to come up with what might be a strong and unique password for you, who here has a favorite song? Show of hands. Okay. I want one volunteer to tell me the name of their favorite song. I'm going to go with the young lady right here. Let it go. Okay, so what I want to encourage is when you're coming up with passwords, you use a passphrase. It's not just a word, but it is a little longer. And one of the things to help you to come up with a passphrase is maybe to use the lyrics of a song that you like. So it could be Elsa, Let It Go, and you change the E to a 3, and you separate the words with spaces, and you know that this lyric is meaningful to you and you only. So your best friend wouldn't necessarily be able to guess it, and it would make it difficult for hackers to steal your password. So this is one of the tips you could use to help you to come up with passphrases, strong passwords that you could use to protect your online personas.
Bisesar continued by likening passwords to toothbrushes and warning against sharing.
So we want to think of your password like your toothbrush. You don't share your toothbrush with anyone, right? At least I hope so. You're all not sharing your toothbrushes with anyone? Okay, good. You don't want to share it with your friends, not your cousins, no one. Even if you totally trust your friend, sharing your password could backfire. What if they leave it written down somewhere or tell someone else by mistake? They could tell a friend of their friend who may not be your friend, right? So suddenly your private stuff isn't so private anymore. And online, never give your password out to someone who messages you. If someone asks you for your password, it's definitely a scam. No real company will ever do that through email or messages, right? So remember, your password is like your toothbrush. Keep it private and don't let anyone else use it ever.
He introduced the students to phishing, a cybercrime practice in which online scammers attempt to gain personal information from vulnerable and digitally illiterate individuals.
All right, let's talk about phishing. And no, it's not the kind with the fishing rod and the worms and the out on the boat. This is an online type of phishing, guys. Phishing with a PH is a sneaky online trick. Scammers gonna pretend to be someone you trust, like your bank or a popular game. How many of you all play Roblox here? Or play Fortnite? Or play Minecraft? Yeah. So you see, those scammers, what they're gonna do is pretend to be these games. And they're gonna, or even a friend, and they're gonna try to get you to give up your personal information, like your password, or even get your parents' bank account number and give them it. So phishing is kind of like this. Imagine somebody knock on your door, wearing a delivery uniform, and says, "Hey, I've got a package for you. But first, I need your house key and your phone password." That's sounding really fishy, right? Okay, so let's learn how to spot a phishing scam. Like this email I got the other day saying I want an iPhone 40 Pro. You all seen this email here? Let's look at that. They said I want an iPhone 40 Pro and $1.5 million. Wow. Well, I ready to retire. I ready to quit my job, drop out of school and retire on my $1.5 million. But then I realized this is a scam. So how do we know this is a phishing email? Let's look. First of all, I realized immediately that iPhone 14 Pro 40 doesn't exist yet. So unless this guy is from the future, then this already seems suspicious. Second, you have to look out for key phrases like you want a prize, like a free iPhone or Robux or V-Bucks. If it sounds too good to be true, then it probably is. Nobody just hands out millions of super fancy phones for free. And I know I didn't enter any legitimate giveaways recently. So how could I be winning anything? Third, the email is trying to persuade me to click on a suspicious link. These types of links usually redirect me to a website that they want me to enter my password or my payment information. Real companies won't do that, so you have to beware, right? And lastly, you can see they have lots of grammar mistakes. That's not how you spell iPhone. You all know how to spell iPhone? That's not how you spell it with an F.
Lake concluded the segment by underscoring the critical role of reading in identifying phishing attempts.
You have to read. So having read the email, you would then be able to determine whether or not what is being claimed in the email is truly legitimate. Did you really win a prize? As Raja said, did you really enter a competition to win a prize? How do you even know if there are spelling mistakes and grammatical errors if you don't read it? I just want to reinforce the need for you to read before you take action. You read so that you don't put yourself in online peril by clicking on a phishing link.
The importance of digital literacy extends beyond individual safety. It is fundamental for educational progress, employment opportunities, and civic engagement. Students with strong digital literacy skills are better equipped for independent learning and can navigate the vast resources available online. In the professional realm, digital skills are increasingly independent for career readiness, as workplaces rely heavily on digital tools for communication and collaboration. Moreover, digital literacy empowers individuals to participate actively in civic society, engage in online discussions, and contribute to their communities. The Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force's Violent Crime Unit has launched an investigation into an attempted murder stemming from a shooting incident that occurred in Halfway Tree on June 18, 2025 at approximately 9:15 p.m. The victim, identified as Jelani Ford, 23, of Harry Phipps Housing Project, was initially transported by private means to Poxon Hospital. He was subsequently transferred by ambulance to the Joseph and France General Hospital, where he is reported to be in stable condition. Preliminary investigations revealed that around 9:10 p.m. Ford was sitting in a friend's yard when he was approached by a lone masked gunman. The assailant opened fire, and Ford, in an attempt to flee, sustained multiple gunshot wounds to both feet and his left hand. The Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force is appealing to the public for assistance. Anyone with information regarding this crime is urged to contact the Violent Crimes Unit at 662-3468. All information provided will be held in strict confidence.
The St. Kitts Music Festival Committee and local tourism officials anticipate that the event in its 2025 season will be the best one yet, with a historic ticket sales and attendance record. Ticket sales got underway in December 2024, and with almost 6 months of early bird ticket sales, tickets had been going like wildfire. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, St. Kitts, Tivana Wharton, encouraged individuals to purchase their tickets before the weekend's showcase to secure their entry into the Warner Park Stadium.
We anticipate an even bigger crowd this time around, and this is the first time in history that we've started selling tickets so early. Tickets went on sale, I think it was the 28th of December last year. First time in history, and so we're very pleased to have accomplished that. To date, I mean, I will not give the numbers, but even one of the slowest nights, the ticket sales as of today have far surpassed what we have seen in previous years. And so we're quite pleased. And so for persons who haven't yet purchased their tickets, I'm encouraging you to do so. I think I said it at the launch as well, that this may very well be a sold out. There is limited capacity, and for safety reasons, we have to ensure that, we don't go beyond the accepted limit within the space.
Physical tickets are on sale across the Federation at various outlets, but according to P.S. Wharton, there is a likelihood that music festival ticket sales would cut off online because reports from vendors suggest that tickets are being sold like hot bread and butter on the ground. The ticket outlets include The Cable, St. Kitts, Hosford's Value Mart in St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Kitts Nevis Lottery across the Federation, Ministry of Tourism, Pelican Mall, St. Kitts, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday to Friday. Tickets will also be available for sale at the St. Kitts Marriott Resort from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. during the week of the festival, June 23 to 28. However, it's a bit sketchy whether tickets will be sold on show nights because organizers anticipate that tickets may not be available until then. If tickets are available, the sale of tickets at the football booth will start from 5 p.m. on show nights. Similar to general admission tickets, VIP and VVIP tickets have also been selling rapidly, confirming how intentional patrons are in enjoying themselves and being entertained by some of the finest artists on the local, regional, and international scene.
Well, the VIPs, I'm told, I think express events are pretty much sold out. Yes, they're sold out. I think they increased capacity beyond what they initially said they were going to cater for. They're sold out. They may have tickets for the Thursday night. So if you are interested in express events, certainly purchase your tickets. Likewise for White Sands Lounge, the VVIP Lounge by Carambola. They are near capacity. They obviously cater for more persons, so you just might be lucky to get a few from them for the night. So I'm really encouraging persons to purchase their tickets. And I think what's interesting though is that from next week, I think from Monday, we're going to feel the energy of the people.
There has been a boom in the hospitality sector, with hotels in St. Kitts reporting full capacity bookings over the music festival weekend, forcing prospective patrons from overseas to seek accommodation on Nevis.
Maybe about 80% of the early bird tickets initially were purchased by people from abroad. Right now, people can't find not even one place to stay. So if you have Airbnb, put it up now. People are still searching. I'm told that the hotels in Nevis are even near capacity because people are willing to stay on Nevis and come to the festival in St. Kitts. We are really excited about the support from people in the region and internationally, because the truth is this is why the music festival was created.
Just over a week before the 3-night musical affair, work was already ahead of pace on the grounds of the Warner Park cricket and football stadiums in preparation for the St. Kitts Music Festival, June 26 to 28, 2025. The Nevis recycling team officially declared a third container of plastic waste ready for shipment to the Republic of China, Taiwan on June 17, 2025, with more plastic shipments already on the horizon. Such an undertaking on a 36-square-mile island symbolizes a collective effort to reduce plastic consumption. The Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis has demonstrated a growing commitment to sustainability by implementing policies and initiatives that reduce the use of plastics in the country and protect the environment environment. The recycling program in Nevis helps address concerns that single-use plastics are destructive to natural ecosystems, put species at risk, and accelerate climate change. However, Nevisians will soon see the results of their hard work, as the first batch of reusable tote bags and eco-friendly t-shirts is expected to arrive on the island from Taiwan in a few weeks. This move promotes not only a green fashion statement, but also the circular economy and the zero waste agenda. Additionally, the Nevis recycling team carried out a waste sampling composition analysis on June 17, 2025 at the Nevis Solid Waste Management Agency. The team sorted 24.8 tons of garbage collected from the villages of Cherry Gardens and Prospect. The team highlighted a recurring concern: the presence of clothing among general waste. The landfill does not allow for fabric disposal, as its purpose is to break down biodegradable waste using topsoil. Meanwhile, the findings of the waste sampling exercise confirm a reduction in the use of single-use plastic bags, a slight increase in the use of garbage bin liners, and a significant portion of plastic bottles.
In regional news,
PAHO hosts workshop on improving regional healthcare, Grenada Broadcasting Network reports.
The 3-day hybrid training workshop, led by the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, in collaboration with Grenada's Ministry of Health, aims to strengthen regional health systems in managing non-communicable diseases, or NCDs. The workshop, part of PAHO's Cooperation Among Countries for Health Development CCHD initiative, is focused on two major components: equity gap analysis, social determinants of health and intersectionality, and the scoping and capacity building for human resources for health HRH planning. The session is being facilitated by Dr. Taralyn Malcolm, PAHO's advisor for NCDs and mental health, Barbados and Eastern Caribbean.
So this workshop is looking at the social determinants, intersectionality, equity, and how those impact on NCD. We have been focusing a lot on having intervention targeting to be able to identify persons who have these conditions very early and for them to get treatment. However, within health, we tend to focus on ensuring that these services are available, but not looking at the fact that these other factors, as I mentioned, person's income, person's ability to get transportation, may not be there.
Dr. Malcolm highlighted the expected outcome of the workshop.
So the expectation is that after this workshop, they will go to their respective countries, and as they develop health programs and intervention, this is done within the context of all these other factors, not just to assume that because you have your polyclinic or your health center within 10 kilometers of where someone lives means that persons are going to access it. So it is taking the lessons learned from here to see how they can incorporate that into their program as they plan their different health program within their respective countries.
Over 50 high-level health professionals from Grenada and other OECS territories are participating in this week's training session.
Participants, we have permanent secretaries from the Ministry of Health, we have chief medical officers, we have health planners, we have NCD focal points, human resources for health focal point. So we have from Antigua and Barbuda, from Grenada, from St. Lucia, from Dominicus, from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and St. Kitts and Nevis. I hope I didn't leave any country out. We have Montserrat as well, and Anguilla. So we do have for all the OECS countries. Beyond the workshop, there are definitely work that we intend to continue with the countries. So this is the first in many to come.
The training concludes on Friday, June 21st, with participants expected to leave with new insights and plans to enhance healthcare systems across the region. Rena P. Thomas, GBN News.
OECS leaders push legislation for regional resilience. DBS St. Lucia has that story.
On Tuesday, the 77th meeting of the OECS Authority convened under the chairmanship of Honorable Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The forum featured open dialogue among heads of governments on essential bills and legislative frameworks aimed at helping the region achieve its sustainable development goals. OECS Director General Dr. Didacus Jules addressed the mandate to improve food security throughout the region.
Goods like the foods we eat, the medicine we take, the produce we grow, should be able to move smoothly across our borders. But these freedoms don't happen by chance. They require trust. trust that what's produced in one member state meets the same safety, health, and quality standards as in another. That's where these bills come in. The Contingent Rights Bill, for example, is about dignity and fairness.
His Excellency Alan Alexander, OECS Commissioner, highlighted this year's theme and emphasized the urgency of proactive measures amid global crises. He encouraged regional collaboration and adherence to legislative measures already in place to protect the region's future while advancing intra-regional development.
A period where the global landscape continues to shift rapidly with climate change, geopolitical uncertainty, the economic pressures, all which challenges the very foundation of small island development states like ours. The strength of our union lies not merely in shared geography or common history, but in our collective willingness, our willingness to adapt boldly, to innovate wisely.
Outgoing OECS Chairman and Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Honorable Philip J. Pierre, reflected on his tenure with confidence in the newly appointed chair. He expressed hope that the organization would continue to prioritize food security and regional unity in response to global economic challenges.
We recenter our focus on food security through the Food and Agricultural Systems Transformation, the FAST strategy, helping us plant the seeds of self-reliance in the face of global disruptions. In a deep collaboration with other agricultural organizations, we are implementing this strategy with the active participation of a growing cohort of youth and women in agriculture.
This year's theme for the 77th OECS Authority meeting was Adapting, Innovating, Sustaining, a Unified OECS for a Changing World. A timely message reinforcing the importance of unity and policy enforcement for regional resilience and sustainability. For the DBS News World, Manasseh Stanislas reporting.
We now bring you these international reports.
Many in Israel never thought they would see Iranian missiles finding holes in Israel's air defenses.
Wow.
With one hitting the Soroka hospital in southern Beersheba. Iran launched another wave of strikes across Israel after Israeli drones struck targets in central Tehran, including the headquarters of the Iranian Red Crescent Society. Israeli air defenses have been firing from densely populated civilian areas. Since October 7, Israeli forces leveled large parts of Gaza, accusing Hamas of doing just that.
There really are various sensitive installations and headquarters very near to the hospital because Israel places its military headquarters in the midst of civilian neighborhoods and towns, just as Hamas did in Gaza.
In Iran, doctors described Israeli attacks on hospitals as a bloodbath after the Farabi Hospital in Kermanshah and the Red Crescent building in Tehran were hit. Iranians say Israel is systematically targeting hospitals the same way it has struck Palestinian medical facilities in Gaza. These are Israeli tanks firing at the Turkish hospital in the Strip. Israeli troops have been seen in medical facilities, including the underground Rambam healthcare campus in Haifa, as well as receiving treatment at the Ishilov Hospital in Tel Aviv. It seems innocuous and routine for most countries, but Israel often cites the presence of fighters as a reason for soldiers to target Palestinian hospitals. These are Israeli troops disguised as doctors and patients during a raid inside Ibn Sina Hospital in Jenin in the occupied West Bank. In Gaza, hospitals have been besieged, bombed and stormed by Israeli soldiers, and staff and patients have been arrested. Israeli soldiers have also routinely posted footage of themselves destroying medical equipment, such as this ultrasound machine in Gaza's only cancer hospital. And this soldier posted a video of a bulldozer destroying the Turkish hospital. Human rights workers have documented doctors and medics being arrested, tortured, and killed by the Israeli army.
Such pain here in Gaza and such impunity everywhere else. Sorry. Maybe that's it. Sorry.
Israeli military censors, who usually block images of destruction, quickly released videos of this one being attacked. The Prime Minister called people targeting hospitals terror tyrants, and the Defense Minister said the targeting of hospitals and residential buildings is, quote, a war crime. Yet those humanitarian principles apply equally to Israelis, Iranians and Palestinians, And every hospital everywhere has to be protected, regardless of where it is located or who's attacking it. Sama bin Javed, Al Jazeera.
Like thousands of other Palestinians in Gaza, Hind al-Nawaja makes a dangerous, miles-long journey every day in search of food for her family. She says she's had to duck down and hide like this on many occasions.
You either return carrying food for your children and they'll be happy, or you return in a shroud. Or you go back upset without food and your children will cry. This is life. We are being slaughtered.
In recent days, dozens of Palestinians have been killed by Israeli fire while trying to reach food from aid trucks, according to Gaza medics. The Israeli army did not immediately comment on these incidents, but noted that its force had fired warning shots to disperse people near operating areas and were reviewing civilian casualty reports. Israel has been channeling aid through a new US and Israeli-backed group, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which operates a handful of distribution sites in areas guarded by Israeli forces. However, the United Nations criticizes this system as inadequate and a violation of humanitarian impartiality. Israel argues it prevents aid diversion by Hamas, which Hamas denies. On Wednesday, Nawaja returned empty-handed from her food search. For 20 days, she and her sister have camped by the road, attempting to access distribution sites where aid trucks arrive. They say they often face competition from men fighting for sacks of flour from UN trucks.
When there is no food, as you can see, the children start crying and getting angry. When we walk for 3-4 kilometers or more on our feet are bruised and our shoes are torn off. We can't run as we chase the aid trucks to bring aid to our children. It's our children we feel bad for. Nigerian manufacturer Codex Bio plans to make millions of HIV and malaria test kits. A company executive said the move is to fill gaps in the wake of cutbacks at the US donor agency USAID. Codex Bio is expected to roll out kits later this month from its new plant. The United States is the world's largest humanitarian aid donor. Its support to Nigeria reached $740 million in 2024, according to USAID data. The aid focused on preventing malaria and curbing HIV, as well as delivering vaccines to local health centres across the country. However, the US has cut funding for foreign assistance, half of which is delivered via USAID. It is not yet clear how Nigeria will be affected by the cuts. The Nigerian government has said it will raise funds to continue some of the programmes that donors supported. Olanrewaju Balaja is the plant's general manager.
From the statistics of what is supplied for a specific year, program year, I would say, 23-24, looking at that and matching what we have currently in capacity, for Nigeria, we have enough capacity to meet up the demand. So if we scale up, that means we would meet beyond what Nigeria requires. We can go to West and Sub-Saharan Africa, including other African countries.
Workers are packing test kits at the plant outside Lagos, which has an initial capacity to produce 147 million kits annually. Nigeria has the highest burden of malaria globally, according to the WHO, with nearly 27% of the global burden. The country also has the world's fourth highest burden of HIV, according to UNAIDS.
From Trump Mobile to a surge in stablecoins, this is Crypto Weekly. The Trump Organization has launched a self-branded mobile service with a $499 smartphone. It's dubbed Trump Mobile and signals an effort to court conservative consumers with a wireless service as an alternative to a major telecom provider. The Trump family has in recent years ventured into newer arenas, including digital media and cryptocurrency. Donald Trump Jr. was on hand to announce the plans, with a goal to connect with the mobile community, as they have with crypto users.
Today we're here to introduce Trump Mobile. We've partnered with some of the greatest people in the industry to make sure that real Americans can get true value from their mobile carriers. A big part of what we've done right now in the world has been focused on technology for people who have been underserved, whether that's been in crypto or anything else. But one of the places where we felt there was lackluster performance was in the mobile industry. And
Coinbase is seeking a green light from the US Securities and Exchange Commission to effectively launch stock trading via blockchain technology. Its chief legal officer told Reuters it wants to make so-called tokenized equities available to its customers. They're shares of a company that have been converted into a digital token. Instead of holding the securities directly, investors hold tokens that represent ownership of the securities. In a watershed moment, the US Senate on Tuesday passed a bill to create a regulatory framework for stablecoins. They're a type of cryptocurrency token usually pegged to the US dollar. The bill, dubbed the Genius Act, received bipartisan support. The House of Representatives needs to pass its version of the bill before it heads to Trump's desk for approval. And after the bill was passed, the total market capitalization of stablecoins surged to a record high. According to CoinDesk data, it hit $251.7 billion. That's up 22% so far this year.
You were listening to the WINN FM 98.9 newscast. Our top stories were:
SCELEC ramps up vegetation management for hurricane season. Navigating the Digital World, ECCB guides students on online safety. Attempted murder in Halfway Tree under investigation.
Organizers anticipate a sold-out St. Kitts Music Festival and historic attendance record in 2025. Nevis Recycling Team ships more plastic waste overseas, confirms reduction in single-use plastic at landfill.
PAHO hosts workshop on improving regional healthcare. OECS leaders push legislation for regional resilience. Internationally, Israel accused of hypocrisy over hospital attacks amid escalating conflict.
Thank you for listening.